Hey y'all, Toby Baxley here. This is my first cooking video, but I'm going to do a tri-tip for you today, and I've got my Kamado Chargriller Akorn Kamado fired up, and we're gonna get started. Okay, I've got my Akorn firebox loaded up with some lump charcoal and some hickory chunks, and I've lit a Weber starter cube and I've let that burn out. So we're going to load this lower rack, install this lower rack on these 3 tabs, and the pizza stone that I use as a heat deflector. And here that is in place. We're doing today what's called a reverse sear. We're going to cook this meat over a fairly low temperature and then ramp the grill temperature up and finish it over high heat to give it a nice crust on the outside. And I've got this ambient temperature probe clipped onto the cooking rack, and I've got it installed onto my ThermoWorks chef alarm. It's not actually made to go with the chef alarm. It was for a different thermometer that was not usable anymore, but I was glad to find out that it does work with this. It's not completely accurate, but it's close enough, and it's a lot closer than the dome thermometer on the Akorn. I really like the chef alarm. It's got a big display, high and low temperature alarms. It's got minimum and maximum readouts and a loud alarm and a timer, so I'm really enjoying it so far. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Here's the star of the show. This is our 1.8 pound tri-tip, and we're gonna get started here. My alarm has gone off at 155 degrees, so I'm dampening down the top and bottom vents. I like to leave the top vent about right there for a low temperature, and damper the bottom vent down to between 0 and 1, which is indicated by this set screw. I'm setting a second alarm for 225 degrees, and to set the alarm, set the temperature, you put this set temp, and the low temperature light flashes, and I press it again and the high temperature limit flashes, and you can ramp it up to whatever temperature you want. I'm setting it at 225, and then I'll hit the set temp button again, and we'll be all ready to go and wait for that temperature to get up to our cooking temp. Alright, well, we're up to 228 degrees internal, so we're going to put this meat on and get it cooking. Once I get it on the grill, I'm going to set the temperature probe inside, and we're going to watch it climb up to about 130 degrees internal before we take it off and let it rest, and ramp the grill temperature up to searing temps. I'm going to put the meat probe right in the biggest part of the middle of this roast, so we can monitor the temperature of the center mass of this piece of meat. Then we're going to close the lid. We're going to maintain a temperature of about 250 degrees. We're watching the internal temperature climb back up to 250, and then we'll switch probes and start monitoring the meat's internal temperature with the other probe. Alright, well, we're up to 130 degrees internally, so I'm going to take this meat off and let it rest, and we're going to get this grill screaming hot and sear off the outside. I'm going to take this ambient temperature probe out as well, because at temperatures of 700 degrees, the internal wiring would fry to a crisp. And I'm going to loosely cover this tri-tip as we let it rest while the grill comes up to temperature. I'm taking my grate grabber tool, and I'm going to take this cooking grate off, and then we're going to remove the pizza stone. We won't need it for the next part of this cook, and there's a possibility that it could crack under the high temperature. Now to ramp this temperature up, I'm fully opening the top and bottom vents. And after about 15 minutes, it's time to cook. These Kamados are very air efficient, and so when you're cooking at high temperatures, be sure to open them very slowly so as not to let a rush of air come in under that lid and cause backdraft and burn you very severely. We're going to cook this meat on both sides, about a minute per side, and we're going to open it up every 30 seconds and give it about a half turn. 30 seconds later, and we're going to open it very slowly. Give it a half turn. Close it up, another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds has gone by. We're gonna open it up slowly again. It's screaming hot, so I've put on my gloves. Turn this over and see what kind of crust we've developed on the other side. Looking really good. Another 30 seconds. All right, 30 seconds has gone by. We're going to give it one last half turn to make that handsome crosshatch of grill marks. Close it up. One more 30 seconds. And that 30 seconds has gone by. So we're going to take this off the grill. First, we're going to sear the edges of this meat just to make sure that we get all sides of it covered. Develop as much flavor and crust as we possibly can. It's all about the crust. Once we have the meat seared off on all sides, we'll shut this grill down, take the meat back inside, and I'll bring you back in there and we'll cut into it, see what it looks like. And here is the finished product. A reverse seared tri-tip cooked over hickory, and we're going to cut into this and see what it looks like on the inside. I'm kind of pulling it a little bit and stretching it to see which way the grain is running, and the grain is running this way where my knife is running now, so we're going to cut across it to shorten the grain and give the most tender pieces of meat we can as our finished product. There's a thick gray band running around the outside from where we seared it off. That'll get smaller as we get in towards the center of this roast, but you can see how juicy and tender that meat is, and we're looking forward to having that for dinner tonight. Here's a close-up so you can see it in a little bit greater detail. It's very moist and tender. I appreciate you watching my first video and hanging with me. Please subscribe to my channel, and we'll cook some more together.